Ever wondered why it sometimes feels like everyone's watching you? Or why you can change your mind so quickly when things don't go as planned? In today's video, we're diving into some of the most fascinating psychological effects that secretly shape our decisions and everyday behavior, often without us even realizing it. We'll be talking about how these mental traps like the spotlight effect, the anchoring bias, the gambler's fallacy, and the contrast effect might be influencing your life right now. You're going to learn exactly why you feel pressured in certain situations, or why your choices sometimes don't make sense after the fact. You'll discover how these effects work, and more importantly, how you can spot them so you can make more informed decisions. Have you ever stopped to think about whether external factors are swaying your daily decisions? In this video, I'm going to show you how to recognize these effects so you can protect yourself from them and take full control of your choices. Let's break it down. Psychological effects are like tricks our mind plays on us, influencing the way we see things and make decisions. They're like those friends who always have a strong opinion, even if you don't realize you're being swayed by them. By understanding these mental tricks, you'll feel like you've unlocked the brain's secret code. Imagine having the ability to notice when your mind is trying to steer you down a path that might not be the best. This can change the way you make everyday choices and big decisions in your life. Now, let's uncover these effects together and see how they might be influencing you, even without you noticing. Let's start with the spotlight effect, that mental trick that makes you feel like a movie star, even when you're just walking down the street. You know when you walk into a crowded room and suddenly think everyone's looking at you, noticing your outfit, your hair, every little detail. That's the spotlight effect in action. The truth is, most people are so wrapped up in their own concerns that they hardly notice what you're doing. It's like everyone is under their own spotlight, focused on themselves. Here are some examples. You spill a drop of ketchup on your shirt, and suddenly you're convinced everyone is staring at it. Or maybe you slightly trip on the stairs and instantly think everyone saw and is judging you. But guess what? Probably no one noticed, and if they did, they forgot about it in seconds. On the flip side, the spotlight effect can also be positive. You're wearing a new outfit and feel like everyone is admiring you, taking inspiration from your style. Or you give a presentation at work and believe your colleagues are impressed by your confidence. While that might be true, often our mind exaggerates, making us believe we're always in the spotlight. Knowing this can help you relax more in social situations because, in reality, the focus isn't always on you. That spotlight you feel is just another trick of your mind. Another trick our mind loves to play is called the anchoring effect. Imagine the first piece of information you receive as a heavy anchor that pulls all your decisions in that direction, even if that information is just a clever marketing ploy. For example, you're strolling through the mall and see the dream TV with a price tag that says, was $2,000, now only $1,200. The original $2,000 price is the anchor that hooks you. Suddenly, $1,200 seems like a steal, even though deep down, you weren't planning to spend that much. It's like the store is telling you, look how much you're saving. And your mind starts thinking you're getting a great deal, when, in reality, you're still spending a significant amount. Another example is when someone asks you how long you think it will take to get somewhere and mentions that most people take about 45 minutes, even if you've never made the trip before. Your estimate will likely revolve around those 45 minutes, influenced by the anchor that was planted. And the anchoring effect also shows up when we try to predict outcomes. If someone tells you a soccer team usually scores 3 goals per game, you might anchor your prediction to that number, even if you haven't followed the team's recent performance. Your estimate will be swayed by that first piece of information. The anchoring effect can catch us off guard in various situations, from how we perceive discounts to how long we think something will take. But by recognizing this effect, you can learn to make more balanced decisions and not let any old anchor pull you in the wrong direction. If you want to dive deeper into how these mind tricks, like the anchoring effect, can impact your decisions and learn techniques to master your mind, I highly recommend the book Mighty Mind. It offers powerful insights to help you take control of your choices and avoid being swayed by external anchors. The link to buy it is in the description, so take this opportunity to transform your way of thinking. Now, let's explore cognitive dissonance, a phenomenon that occurs when our beliefs, attitudes, or behaviors clash, creating mental discomfort that our mind desperately tries to resolve. It's like having two voices in your head, each saying something different, and you need to find a way to make them agree. For example, imagine you're preparing for a job interview and believe the position is perfect for you. But if you don't get the job, you might start thinking that maybe the job wasn't so great after all, or that the company isn't as amazing as it seemed. That's cognitive dissonance at work, trying to ease the discomfort of not getting the job by changing how you view the situation. Another classic example is the fable of the fox and the grapes. The fox was hungry and really wanted to eat some grapes hanging from a vine. She tried everything to reach the grapes, but they were just out of her reach. Frustrated, the fox finally gave up and walked away, telling herself, "Oh, they were probably sour anyway." Here, the fox changes her perception of the grapes to ease the discomfort of not being able to get them. This is exactly what happens with cognitive dissonance. When we can't get something we want, we change our opinion to avoid feeling like we've failed. This effect is powerful because it can lead us to justify decisions and behaviors that, deep down, we know aren't the best. But by recognizing when cognitive dissonance is at play, we can become more honest with ourselves and make decisions that are more in line with our values and goals. Now, let's talk about the gambler's fallacy, another trick our mind loves to play. Imagine you're flipping a coin. You flip it 9 times in a row, and every time it lands on heads. What do you think will happen on the 10th flip? Many people would bet on tails because it seems fair, right? After all, it's been heads so many times. But here's the trick. The coin has no memory. This is the essence of the gambler's fallacy. Our mind makes us believe that past events influence future ones, even in completely random situations. Another example is in a casino, where you see the roulette will land on black several times in a row. Suddenly you think, it's definitely going to be red this time. But the roulette, like the coin, doesn't remember what happened before. Each spin is independent and has nothing to do with the last. The gambler's fallacy also appears in weather predictions. Imagine you've had an entire week of sunshine, not a cloud in the sky. Then you think, it's about time for rain. The weather's definitely going to change. Or the opposite, after a week of constant rain, you believe the sun is finally going to come out. But the weather, like the coin or the roulette, doesn't follow a rule of balance. A sunny week doesn't guarantee the next will be rainy, and a week of rain doesn't mean the sun is about to shine. Each day is independent, and nature doesn't adjust based on what happened before. This fallacy can catch us off guard in many situations, making us believe that something must happen to balance things out when in reality, everything remains purely random. Knowing this can help you avoid irrational bets or decisions based on this false idea that the universe needs to even the score. Finally, let's talk about the contrast effect, a trick our mind uses to deceive us through comparisons. This effect causes our perception of something to be influenced by what we saw before, making an ordinary thing seem more impressive or less depending on the context. For example, imagine you walk into a store and see a leather jacket priced at $500. Right after that, you find a similar jacket for $200. Compared to the $500 price, $200 feels like a steal, even though $200 is still a lot of money to spend. That's the contrast effect at work, making you believe the second price is much better simply because the first one was much higher. Another example happens in restaurants. You look at the menu and see that the larger drink costs just a little more than the smaller one. Suddenly, the smaller drink seems too small, and you end up choosing the larger one, even though the smaller size would have been enough. The contrast between the sizes and prices makes the bigger option seem like the better deal. The contrast effect can also show up in everyday decisions. For example, when you're evaluating two job offers. The first one offers a high salary, but demands long hours and little flexibility. The second one offers a lower salary, but with flexible hours and a better work environment. Suddenly, the second job seems much more appealing, not just because of the benefits, but because you're comparing it to something that requires much more from you. This effect makes us see things in a distorted way, basing our choices on comparisons that aren't always fair or relevant. By recognizing this, you can make clearer decisions and avoid being swayed by misleading comparisons. It's important to remember that these effects aren't inevitable. Recognizing them in your daily life can help you make more conscious decisions and avoid being influenced by tricks your mind might play on you. Knowing how to identify these effects is like having an extra tool to handle everyday situations more clearly and objectively. Think about your recent purchases. Did the initial price influence you to spend more than you planned? Or maybe you noticed how comparing to options led you to choose something you didn't really need. And in social interactions, have you realized how the spotlight effect can make you more nervous than necessary? Knowing these effects exist gives you the power to control them. Next time you're in a similar situation, use this knowledge to make a more balanced decision. Thanks for watching all the way through. If you enjoy understanding the mind, check out our video, What's Inside Their Minds, where we explore the minds of our best friends, the dogs. You're going to love it.